Oh, pretzels, what time could it be? It's time to stream. Hi, everybody, and what is up, gamers? Hello and welcome. I hope you're all having the loveliest of lovely days. I'm trying not to have hiccups, so that's fun. Hi, everyone. Oh, I'm so glad to be... I'm so sorry I wasn't here on Monday. It wasn't my choice. I was at a hospital. Yay! And when I tell you, I didn't know what to expect from this appointment, and I'm not going to go into too much detail because I don't want to get graphic or heavy here. I'm okay. Just to be clear, I am okay. But I was there for about, I got there at 1:30. My appointment was at 1:30, and I left there at 5:20, so I was there for over 3 hours. Oh, God. And I felt like absolute boo-boo garbage afterwards because it was an unexpectedly hot day that day, and I had to do a reasonable amount of walking. I had this bus driver, again, I was in an unfamiliar town for this appointment. I had this bus driver who... So, there was no, announcements anywhere that, the bus route that I was on any kind of, diversion, or they were doing, there was no announcements to that effect at all. Bus's website... yada yada yada, nothing to indicate that they weren't just taking the standard route and stopping at the standard stops. Again, this is a town I'm unfamiliar with. I had never been here before. So, I was like, okay, it gets to the town square, and then it goes 2 more stops, and the second stop is the one I need to get off at to go to the hospital, right? So, I noticed that, the name on the stop sign of the first one that we go past is a different name, but I'm like, oh, maybe it's one of those ones where, it has 2 names, which is just confusing and strange, whatever. So I stay on, and then I ding for the second stop, and as I'm getting off, it doesn't look like it did on the map, and the bus driver's like, just so you know, we're not supposed to stop here because this isn't the normal route. And at this point, I was on my way to an appointment where I didn't know what was going to happen to me. Because that had not been explained very well as for what this appointment was actually for. But again, not to get into too much detail, but, he's like, I'm not supposed to stop here because this is the normal route. And I'm just like, I probably should have said, okay, well, are you still stopping at the stop next to the hospital? But at that point, I was panicking, and things had deviated from my plan, and I was trying not to have, a meltdown about it, because I was really scared. So I was just like, can I just get off the bus, please? And then I had a really long walk to the appointment. I was on time still, because the bus is one of those ones that runs through a bunch of tiny villages once an hour. So, I had intended to be there about 30 minutes early anyways because of that. And yeah. So I ended up having a really long walk to get to there. I hadn't had much to eat that day because, again... didn't know what this appointment was going to entail, was very tired in the morning, so I'd had about half a protein bar to eat, and then I wasn't able to eat anything else until, after I left. But anyways, this bus driver, he was so scary and intimidating, is, shaking his head at me, and he's like, okay, I'll let you off the bus, but you have to never do that again, and I'm like... And I just got off the bus because I was terrified. I don't live here. I don't know what the diversion is, and I don't know whether or not you're stopping at the stop I need to get to. I just have to leave now because I'm scared. So I did that. And then, as I'm walking up to the hospital, I see there's, one of those, temporary sort of, a sort of frame signs in front of it with, the safety yellow road sign looking thing. It says temporary bus stop. And I'm like, okay. So, I'm assuming that this is a bus stop where I can get the bus on the way back. However, I'm not going to bank on that. I'm just going to walk back to the town center. It's about 10-15 minutes. I can probably handle that. I would not have been able to handle that at that point. I, again, was very underfed at that point and ready to, just pass out. I was feeling okay, but not good. Not good. I was not hydrated enough. I'd been, in a hospital for 3 hours. It was pretty miserable. Anyways. I mean, it was fine. I will say the nurses were really, really nice. Everybody was really nice. It was fine. It was great. I'm okay. Within reason. But, it's not a pleasant experience, right? Also, hi, Advent. Welcome in. Sorry I just launched into my ramble. It's the kind of day I'm having, kind of week I'm having, I guess. But anyways, hello, lovely to see you, and I hope you're well. Thank you for the purple highlighted message. What a beautiful color. I love to see it. But yeah, that's so not your fault. No, I just, like, mate, there was no signposting about there being a diversion on this route. I don't know how I was supposed to know that, or whether, like, where it was rejoining the standard route. So, like, anyways, so as I'm coming out of the hospital at the end of my appointment, I see there, like, the traffic is quite queuey because there is some roadworks up ahead where the normal bus stop is placed. But there's a bus in the queue of cars on its way towards where that temporary bus stop signage is. So I decide to just stand where the temporary bus stop signage is, stick my arm out, and try my luck and see whether or not it's a real temporary bus stop. I assume it is because the sign is there, right? Bus driver gets there. It's the same damn bus driver from 3 hours ago. It's the same damn bus driver from 3 hours ago, and he's, like, shaking his head at me. Like, no, 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 I shouldn't be letting you on the bus here or something. And I'm like, I didn't say anything because, again, like, my life is in this man's hands at this point, basically. So I don't really want to take the risk of being anything other than pleasant. So I just ask him for a ticket to Oxford, and I get on the bus, and I sit on the bus, and just pray that if I'm the only passenger on the bus by the end of the route, he's not going to try to murder me. Also, he looked exactly like Harry Enfield, but with more murderous intent in his eyes. I was terrified. My husband, my moderator / spouse, says that I should contact the bus service and be like, this bus driver scared the crap out of me and was really mean. And also, your signposting about there being, like, a diversion and roadworks and stuff in this town is super bad. But I don't want to be annoying and complainy. Like, 98% of the time, bus drivers are lovely people, and, I know it's not an easy job, and I do not want to be the person who's, like, picking a fight with the bus driver, because, yeah, that just feels bad, but, I hope they have to reset their Wi-Fi router when they get home. So sad, but thank you very much, I appreciate the sentiment. But yeah, it was so confusing, and it didn't make any sense, and, you know, I am like, it's not that I'm just, like, stupid or inexperienced and don't understand how public transit works. I am a seasoned public transit user. There was no indication that there was a diversion, and then when I got to the street I actually needed to be on, there was a sign saying there was a bus stop there. He shouldn't have been mad about having to stop. Like, I'm sorry I made you do your job, I guess, question mark? It's, anyways, so, yeah, the appointment was fine, but as I say, it took significantly longer than I was expecting, which meant I wasn't home until 7 p.m. at the end of things, so, because I ended up getting into the center of town at the same time as my moderator / spouse, so we went to, the supermarket in the shopping center together, so he could get me a treat, because I'd had a day, so he got me some, pre-packaged gluten-free Madeleines, and honestly, they are just as good as the regular pre-packaged Madeleines. So, you know, what I would describe as a perfectly cromulent little snack cake to go alongside, like, a cup of tea or coffee. So I'm very happy about that. Anyways, oh, what an ordeal. And I was very sad to not be able to stream that day, because I was really looking forward to it. I really want to finish this piece. I've still got quite a lot to do, and it is, it's tiny brush time. Because we've got to get all these tittle details in and do all this stuff. So hopefully we'll be able to get some of that done today. But we'll see how much we get done on this bad boy. Anywho, so yeah, that's how my week's been. Other than that, I have had some side effects. Mild side effects, though. Based on the descriptions I received, I was going to feel a lot worse than I did. I've just been more or less a little more tired and sore than my usual baseline tired and sore. It's really hot in the studio. In fact, I'm going to get this window a little bit more open, if nobody minds. You might hear some bird song from outside, but hopefully not any loud neighbors. Okay. All right, you might get some breeze and some bird song, but I'm hoping there won't be any like loud neighbors or people. If people start like using leaf blowers or power washers or stuff outside, I'll close the window again if it is picking up super badly on the mic. Anyways, the other thing that I've been up to this week. Well, I've got a couple things that I've been up to this week. I've got a commission that I'm working on, which I'm sure I will be all right to share when it's completed, but it is still in the like rough sketch stage because again I have been tired. I've been playing an awful lot of Tomodachi Life this week as well, which is fun. Too much fun. And I am very actively working on completing the script for my next YouTube video, which will have some accompanying merch, which I will have at the end of the month. If you don't know, I have a shop, by the way. But I'm just gonna put out there that I do have a shop. But bear in mind, I have this was supposed to be like last month, but I was away for several weeks last month, so I haven't had a chance to actually do this update yet. But this update is coming towards the end of this month. And it's like a mini update. There's like I think 3 stickers and 2 prints. It's not anything huge, but I'm hoping at the very least it'll break even, because that'd be nice. But in the meantime, if there's something like that I've recently done that you're like, ooh, I want this, maybe hold your horses, because it might be part of this update. It might not be, because as I say, it's a very small update. Do you ship overseas? I do. I ship wherever Royal Mail will send stamped packages. But yeah, there's a couple things coming in the update. I think a number of things that I haven't posted to Instagram yet, but I have, if you like Star Treks, I have made Dax into a sticker because trans pride, and I did also make Miles into a sticker, and there is a 3rd sticker that is related to the YouTube video that I'm making that I honestly think nobody will want, but I think you should because it's cute. And then two new prints of paintings that I've done. My plan is for the autumn and winter updates this year to be more substantial in terms of volume of stuff and ideas and that kind of thing. Because I think generally, like, the first half of the year tends to be the quietest in terms of sales and stuff, and things kind of pick up like in the autumn, like sort of September time, and then in the lead up to the holidays as well. So I'm hoping this year I might actually be able to capitalize on both of those a little bit better, because for years I really struggled getting stuff out for like a December Christmas time type shop update release, because I inevitably, I would be doing one of those like Tober art, like prompt art months things. I did just sort of my own self-directed thing for many years, and then I did Stream Inc. for most of the years that it ran, I think. I think I might have missed the very first one, but every one subsequent to that, I was involved in Stream Inc. Notwithstanding last year, for the most part. Last year was the last year that the organizers decided to run it, because most of the people who ran it have moved on to doing other things and are too busy to do it, which is fair enough. It's a lot of work running an event like that. But I was also in a bit of a weird space with regard to stuff. I can't remember. Oh yeah, I remember why. I was having other weird health stuff going on at that point. And so I wasn't feeling, like Genki enough, I guess, to get on with doing 31 ink paintings in the space of 31 days. So I did like 2 pieces relating to the prompts for Stream Inc. last year. But yeah, in previous years, I always had trouble just having the time and kind of headspace to do like a big winter shop update kind of thing. In part because I was busy all October doing, sort of a painting every day. And so this year I'm probably going to not be doing a painting every day, which is worse in terms of like visibility, because the more stuff you post to your socials medias, the more people see your artwork. But will probably be better in terms of like my headspace for actually just, getting things done that I feel really proud of and that I think people will really like. And I think that'll be really nice. And I hope that will be the case. 'Cause yeah. Anyways, so that's that. I've got a small update coming in the next couple of weeks. I'm very excited. Some silly, cute little things, and then some bigger things coming later this year. I hope. I haven't completed any of the things that are going to be coming later this year, but I've been ideating, if that is a word. I think it's like, oh god, I think it's business jargon. But I've been coming up with ideas for a couple of different things that I haven't done previously as like merch that I think will be really cute and hopefully appeal to kind of people who like the aesthetic that I do, I guess. If there is such a thing. Anyways, I've been thinking about what I want to do with this photo, because I'm realizing right now I feel like it looks a little bit bare. Like, obviously there's a lot of detail that I haven't been able to put in here, but I feel like it also looks a little bit bare in terms of the just like the landscape of it. I'm wondering, do I want to try and put some tiny people down here? Would that be too tiny, too much work? I don't know. Do I want to put, like, because the original, I'm just scrolling backwards trying to find the original photo. I have, okay, I'm not going to show it here, but I have a video clip from a journey that I was making on the tram or streetcar or the TTC in Toronto. And I love this. I don't know how. This man is a magic man, I think. But there was this man that we saw walking down the road. Walking down the sidewalk, like, alongside the tram, and we, lapped him, because obviously the tram goes faster than
Twitch user Sammy Kelsch.
Choppers.
Hold that thought. Kirsty's here. Hi, Kirsty! Welcome in, Raiders! Hello! It's so good to see you, and welcome in! Hi! How was your stream? What'd you get up to today? I've just seen that I've been streaming for half an hour, and I haven't actually done any painting, so that bodes well. Anyways, how was your stream, Kirsty? It's so good to see you. Did you get lots of stuff done? How's it going? Welcome in. Hello. Freddie, hello. Welcome in. Tals, hello. Zebby, hello. Kirsty, hello. Welcome in. Can't relate. Hee. Let me get a shout out for you in the chat real quick. And then I'm going to go say hello to my moderator/spouse who just come home, and then I will introduce myself properly. Hello, Rex. Welcome in. If you're not following Kirsty, go do that. Kirsty's great, and her art is great, and she's super fun. Anyways, how was your stream? Let me know. I'll be back in a second. Babe! It's warm in the studio right now. Oh my god, I'm dying. I don't have a fan, but I do have an iced tea. Anyways, I love you and welcome home. Yay! I will. Moderator/spouse says hello, by the way. I got some stuff done, ? I think. How are you? Hi, Sledge. Kirsty says hi, babe. He says hey. Thank you. Anyways, hello. For anyone who's new here, apologies for the weird introduction, but hello. My name is Twitch user Sammy Kelsch. I'm a variety streamer. I do cozy art streams on Mondays and most Thursdays, and I do cozy game streams on Fridays and sometimes on Thursdays if I'm feeling extra crispy. We are playing Silksong on Fridays right now, and I swear to gosh I'm making some progress. I think I'm making some progress. I forget when I knew what I was going to do next in the game, and now it's been so long that I've forgotten, so I'm going to have to go pop back in and see where I am and what I have to do next, because I don't remember where I am in the game right now. Oh, no. I think I'm in the putrefied ducts. They're very scary. Anyways. But that's neither here nor there. Hello, friends. It's lovely to see you. Kirsty, as always. We are an art text optional stream. If there is anything that you would like to share with the class, I would be more than happy to share that with the class. You're welcome to if you want to whisper a link to like what you were working on today, or if you want me to just go have a little nose around like your blue sky or whatever, I'm very happy to do that. In the meantime, my artwork doesn't always look like this. Sometimes I actually get it done, I swear. Not super often on stream, it seems, but I'm trying my best. Anyways, if you want to see what my artwork looks like when it's done, here's an example. All of last month, older viewers may remember that for the month of May, Kirsty, over on her Silksong channel, was hosting Hollow Knight Art Month, and actually did a big rap stream last night, which was very fun, seeing an ongoing showcase of a whole bunch of works by a whole bunch of really cool people who participated. So lovely to see. I am so inspired by all of these artists and the amazing things that they do and all of the different media and interpretations and art styles, and it's just so cool. It's just so cool. I only have Skong art to share. I'm still dooting around with stream assets. That's cool as heck. That's cool as heck, and oh my god, I feel you. I need to update so much of my stream gubbins. I feel like it's time to give myself a new BRB screen. I'm attached to it, but it's also 5 years old. Oh, Rex, thank you very much for the 3-stream steak. I shall wrap up the art in these steaks. Yum yum delicious. Advent says, I think you are far enough that by the time I get there on Silksong, I'll forget it by the time I get there, so I'll try to tune in. Fair enough. I hope that... Ooh, stream gubbins, says Kirsty. Yay. Anywho. What shall I say? In case you're curious as to... in case you're curious as to what my... silly artwork looks like, I can show you. I can show you some of that. If I can get, if I can get my browser to cooperate with me, and maybe I can, who knows. But maybe. Please. Anyways, having some technical difficulties in the background. Are you surprised? Because you really shouldn't be. Anywho, okay. I think, okay. These buildings look very prideful. Love, thank you. These are indeed for Pride Month. They're super not done. This is based on an actual street that exists in Toronto that I walked past, took a photo of, and was like, okay, what if this street but rainbow? And that's why this is happening. But I do have, please work. No, it's not working. Wait. Hold. Where's Instagram? Okay, there we go. This is a recent work by me. This is a randomly selected piece that I did for Hollow Knight Art Month. I swear not all of my art is Hollow Knight art. If you have no idea what Hollow Knight or Silksong are, this means nothing to you, but hopefully you appreciate the shapes and colors. This is a really fun, stupid one to do. This was the most, maliciously non-compliant interpretation of a prompt I could think of, and as soon as I thought of it, I was like, yeah, that's happening. I'm so sorry. Kirsty, I'm sorry. Forgive me. I do... somewhere in here, there's my face. Somewhere in here, I have done art that isn't Silksong or Hollow Knight, but there is a lot of that. Okay, no, but this is my favorite thing I've ever painted. So, there you have it. Anyways. Kirsty's art! Because Kirsty also does art, and Kirsty does art that's really, really good. Katza, hello, welcome in. We're looking at some Hollow Knight Art Month art from the lovely Kirsty, who has rated us, and we think that her art is really good. I think this is beautiful, and I don't remember if I saw it, and if I did, I think I saw it on Discord and not on social, so I'm going to give it a little boosty boost, because I think it's delightful, and probably mildly spoilery for me, but in ways that I don't know, and this is so charming. I love it. Yeah. Anyways, I love this character, and I love this piece of this character, and I love, is she holding a little pot of paint? That is so stinking cute. I love it so much. What an absolute friend. Anyways, if you haven't been keeping up with what Kirsty has done, artistically, the movement, that's the word I'm looking for. The movement in this piece I love so much. The little ding where she hit the shield with her little needle is just chef's kiss. This is lovely. And also just the little skewered mossy beasts in the background. God, Kirsty, your art is lovely. Don't drink it. It's not a pot of fight milk. Thank you, Kirsty. Anyways, please give Kirsty a follow everywhere. Kirsty's great. does beautiful artwork that is absolutely delightful, and I love with my whole heart. And it's just a really cool person to hang out with as well. So please give her lots and lots and lots of love. And as for me, hi. Thank you for still being here despite this being an extremely cumbersome entrance. I swear, I miss one stream because I have to be in the hospital for a lot longer than I expect. And I just forget the ability to, like, publicly speak. Again, I'm okay. just for clarity. But yeah, how is everyone? How have your weeks been? I hope you are well. I have been working on finishing the script for a new YouTube. I don't even think this video is going to be that long. It's just taken a while to get the script done, and obviously I had to travel for to film it, which was quite a lot. So I do have a lot of scenic B-roll for it, which is always nice. And I hope that people will like the vid. We're getting close to being done, the script, I think. As always, these things end up expanding in scope beyond what I expected. So here we are. Katie! Hello, welcome in. I hope you're well. It's lovely to see you. Oh, I'm sorry, I've got hiccups. Kirsty says, Sammy, why hospital? Oh, okay, good, you're fine, phew. Yeah, I'm okay. Certainly, I'm not in any life-threatening danger. And hopefully, I'll feel better at some point, so... Yay! New YouTube, says Tals. It's on the way. I'm working on it. I am getting very close to being done the script. There's a lot. Your laugh is very contagious and charming. Aw, beans. Now I'm all self-conscious and I'm gonna be... I'm gonna be all self-aware when I do it. But thank you. This is, streaming is an interesting thing when you're an incredibly shy plum, because in a lot of ways I am an incredibly shy plum. I feel... Despite being, like a theater kid, and believe it or not, I was a theater kid. I also feel incredibly, like, self-conscious when I'm being actively perceived, and yet I choose to be actively perceived by multitudes of, potentially tens of people on the internet at a time, several times a week. I think it's easier because A, you can't see my face, and B, I can't see the audience, notwithstanding chat. So it's quite a different experience to, like, standing up in front of a room full of people. But yeah. Anyways, if you do, I'm gonna pop a link to, I hope it's okay if I pop a link to my YouTube channel. If you're not following, you can do that. I'm not gonna bother you with new videos very often. Tals is making notes, no perceiving. Oh, jeez, what have I done? But yeah, where the heck is... okay, so just before we started, I was telling the story of... There was this... so at one point when we were in Toronto, which is where I took the photo that this piece is inspired by. Here it is. So it was this bit of... Jeez, heck! No, my phone has scrolled along and now I can't find the picture anymore. Oh no. Oh no, where did it go? Where did it go? Beans. Yeah, there's... Rosedale. There it is. Okay. Anyways, this is the inspiration photo. Would you focus up, please? Thank you. This is the inspiration photo. I've taken out the cars parked in front because I don't know. I think they're all ugly. So I'm like, what if I just get rid of those? It's fine. But I was getting some public transit B-roll because I love trains and subways and metros and trams so much, especially like stations and stuff, but I think my favorite in terms of actually riding them is the tram. I love the tram. Or things similar to trams. Very fun. Anyways, I'm so neurotypical. Anyway, I wish we had all those things, says Advin. Me too. I have buses. So the city I live in does not have a metro or a tram or anything like that. I guess to a certain extent it's too small. It's also a medieval city, so a lot of the, like, just road structure, I think, is not well suited to something like a tram system. But additionally, it's also quite hilly, and I don't know if that... I mean, it doesn't, because, like, there are quite hilly towns in Switzerland that have metros. So what am I talking about? Yeah. So I love being in a place where there's like trams or metros and that kind of thing, and I get to dude around on them when I can. I mean, it's still struggling with the motor car, says Moriax. You know, in places, you ain't wrong. Also, hi, welcome, and it's lovely to see you. But yes, the so we're riding the tram down. I believe it was Dundas Street, but don't quote me on that. And the tram goes past this fellow who's quite like notable walking down the sidewalk because he was wearing a very brightly colored pair of trousers, so he kind of like stood out. He was working it. He looked great. And then like the tram continues on, yada yada yada. People get on, we stop at red lights, we keep going. And at some point, like, the guy in the loud colored trousers laps us again. Because, like, we go past him, and then I notice a little bit later on, we've gone past him again. So he appears, like, twice in this little video clip. Because apparently we'd actually been going, slowly enough in the tram that it would have been faster to just walk at like a moderate pace. Given the fact that we were lapped by this man, which I find very funny because I would not have assumed that was the case, but oh, it sure was. Rex says, take up both lanes with trams, eliminate cars, problem solved. You know what? I would not mind that. There is a genuine problem, and I think they're trying to tackle it with in my city center, there's a genuine problem with like congestion and too many cars, and they've tried to tackle it with like, like more, if not all, if not most of the buses in our city are electric, or like they're replacing the sort of non-electric fleet with new electric buses as they kind of get cycled out, yada yada yada. As well as certain streets that are like mostly buses only. So, unless you have like a business or something there, or you're making a delivery, you can't go down those streets unless you're a bus. So that eliminates some car traffic, but also just kind of reroutes it around. Also, parking is hard to find in the city center and exorbitantly expensive. But there are, like big park and ride car parks at the various sort of like main roads coming in and the various directions from further afield. If you're coming from out of town and you need to get into the center of town, you can park up at the park and ride, and for a not massive amount of money, just get a bus ticket and ride in on the bus. But some people still like to come in and park, and there's still quite a lot of car traffic, so anyways. And yeah, it's super polluted, and I wish there were less cars, I really do. And I would love if there were trams, but I don't think trams would be suitable for like the part of town that I live in is, well on the outskirts, and I don't, not to dox myself, but the part of town that I live in is not central. And it's a lot of, little windy bendy sort of subdivisional country-ish kind of little streets that trams would not run on, but a bus can. And so I do appreciate having reasonably good access to a bus stop. If I ever have to move from here, I'm prioritizing having very, very, like, 5 minutes walk or less access to public transit is kind of a deal breaker for me, I think. Rex says, my town's metro spent their COVID relief funds on electrifying 60% of the buses. Since then, the savings had let them open new lines and reduce an income tax they collect from 1.25% to 1%. Damn, Rex! That's awesome as heck! That's super cool! More places should do that! I do like anything that... What? Okay. Well, I bumped into something and now I've got coffee on my hand, so a moment, please. I have knocked over a tube of hand cream that I had put there in a tizzy before stream. I'm just gonna use this tissue that I used to clean my paintbrush last time and just use it to get the coffee off of my hands. Advent says my town has 0 public transit, but it's really small, so I can't be angry. Yeah, that's fair. If it's walkable in and of itself, then it kind of makes up for that fact. But I would also not want to live somewhere that has like no public transit, because sometimes public transit can also be really useful if you, say, need to go to a different nearby town that is served by local bus services, or possibly the nearest large city, that kind of thing. Like, for instance, I have a family-in-law who live in a smaller community than the one that that I live in, and their bus service, as far as I know, is basically like a bus that goes in, sort of like in one direction to like the large city sort of this way, and in the other direction to the large city that way. And it's not infrequent, but I don't know. I can't remember if it's every 30 minutes or every hour, but yeah. The bus I had to get to my hospital appointment on Monday runs once an hour. And it goes through a lot of really beautiful little villages. And as I was passing through these beautiful little villages, I was like, oh, wouldn't it be nice to live someplace this lovely? And I'm like, wait, no, they have a single bus that runs once an hour. This would be a nightmare. I would hate it. I'm just, listen, call me a privileged little city mouse, but I like having easy access to like a specialty coffee shop that I don't have to take a once hourly bus to get to. You know what I mean? I like being able to get to a supermarket that isn't like the little local village shop that doesn't really sell that much. And know that I won't end up stuck waiting 45 minutes for a bus with my rapidly melting frozen food that I got at the big supermarket in the big city. No. Advent says, but there are also no sidewalks or anything, so you have to be on someone's property or the road to walk anywhere. This makes me grumpy. Not you, Advent. This makes me grumpy for you, because, like, I'm sorry, if you're not going to have any public transit, can you at least have the infrastructure for people to walk safely through the community? Apparently I have thoughts about, like, town planning, I guess. Just like a 24 inches of pavement. Come on. Rex says small town / rural US is both not walkable and is also unlikely to have public transit. Maybe at like 10,000 people or larger, you'll start to see buses, says Rex. Oh yes, I used to know someone who lived in, this was a university town, but it was like quite a small, like, state university, I think. And the, like, access to a supermarket required having to cross, like, with no sidewalks, having to cross over, like, a major, like, motorway overpass. Well, like, I would say maybe 20, depending on where you were in town, like, maybe 20 to 30 minutes walk into the outskirts of town. And they did have a taxi service. They did have a taxi company, which was a guy in a taxi. It was literally one man with a taxi. Which, considering the size of the place was big enough to have a university. And there was just zero infrastructure for actually getting around if you did not drive. Now, was it a fairly walkable town? Yes. For, like, student-aged people without disabilities, sure. Anybody else? I don't know. Good luck. It was nightmarish. And I get the feeling that is extremely normal for that part of America. And I just think, y'all, I don't think people who've never been outside of those types of places realize how that shouldn't be normal sometimes. I'm sure a lot of people do think, like, this sucks. But I think there are also a lot of people who don't realize how not normal that is. And it's really not normal in other places. One of the things that I love about living in Europe is places tend to be more connected. Rex says some of those state universities in the U.S. can have like 20 to 30K population from the students alone. That's wild to me. Although sometimes the university supplies transit, but only for students and not permanent residents. Yeah, also great. Super helpful. Yeah, it was not a fun place to be. It was fine for me as like a visitor, but also because I was like I was also student aged at the time, and so I was better at walking great distances than I would be like now, I think. But yeah, there were a lot of like big high traffic streets without pavements, and good luck walking onto them. Um, if you need to go to like the one supermarket that's technically in town, but it's basically on the outskirts of town, and it's like just it's like a Walmart, and that's it. That's all they've got. Good luck with that. Terrible. Anyways, but yeah, that's also really frustrating that they'll have transit, but only for I guess because it is funded by the university, then that makes sense. But that's also really annoying if you are not part of the university. Frustrating. I don't know. I think everyone and everywhere should have access to I understand like the history of why like the automotive industry had a big explosion in the States, and so there was, sort of in the 20th century, for sure, a lot of large-scale planning of communities around the assumption that everyone will own a car, everyone drives a car, everyone has access to a car. Therefore, we don't need to think about these, like, European ideas, like having trams and metros and buses and stuff. Like, here, buses are for the poors, so no one wants to use them, and then when people do use them, not enough people use them, so they're bad, so we don't fund them, so no one wants to use them. And because no one uses them, then we don't fund them, so people continue to not want to use them. It's a horrible loop of badness. Rex says, I wonder what it's like to live in a university town and have like 30,000 of the 40,000 people vanish for a few months each year. I can't say, as someone who lives in a city where the major industry, and in fact I think it's the largest employer in the county, is the university. I can't really say, because the university has made very good use, I think, of their facilities, in as much as they will run like summer schools for secondary school aged students, and there's all these like third parties running. Like the university doesn't run this summer schools, but they like, I think, hire out their spaces to these summer schools. Some of them are like for kids who are super smart and advanced and want to get ahead before they, go off to university or apply to university or whatever. And then also kids who do not speak English as a first language, and either they want to get to go spend some time studying abroad and improving their English skills, or their parents want to get them out of the house for 2 weeks. Take your pick. And so we have in the summertime, there's potentially fewer students, like regular undergraduate students, but we have an influx of just gaggles of teenagers in matching rucksacks taking up masses of space on the sidewalks and not knowing how the buses work. And it is, I feel for them, because, being in a foreign country with a bunch of kids you probably don't know very well, and it's not your first language, probably a bit of a scary situation. But also, oh my god, it makes traveling around in the summer by bus nightmarish, frankly. Rex says, to a point I understand the lack of public transit, at least on true Farmville, USA, where your closest neighbor is like a mile away on the next farm over. You'd have very few people to pay for and also use the buses that need to go extra long distances. Yeah. I get why there's less provision of public transit like way out in the country. Because there's just less people. It's not as dense. But when it comes to like townly communities, I feel like I don't know. I think I was trying to allude to this earlier. I feel like it becomes somewhat of a self-fulfilling prophecy with public transit when the public transit provision is bad. So most people avoid using it wherever possible because the provision is bad. Therefore, there isn't an incentive for, you know, whoever is in charge of funding public transit, like whichever sort of level of governing body it is, city councils or state, whatever, depending on how these things are allocated in your country. It becomes a thing where it's like, well, no one's using this, so there's no point in our, like, trying to spend more money on improving the service that is being used by no people, but also the reason potentially that a lot of people are not attempting to make use of the service is that it is bad. There are certainly feedback loops that apply, says Tels. Yes, exactly. That's what I'm trying to get at. It's like in Toronto, there was I don't know how this is going. I can't remember if it was like this past winter or the winter before that. I don't remember. But there was a new light rail line that came in. I didn't get to see it while I was there because we didn't have any reason to be in that part of the Greater Toronto Area, or the GTA as it's known. But a new light rail service that sort of cuts across this like corridor, and like potentially useful for connecting these areas via a more efficient form of public transit. But what I saw was someone who I follow on the T dot tells, yeah, exactly, Trana. Anyways, someone who I follow on Mastodon, who is an enthusiast and writer on public transit and the like, went to the grand opening of this new light rail service and, sort of rode on it one of its first day voyages. And the conclusion was, it is so slow. It is being laughed at a ridiculous rate by like cars and also cyclists. And it's one of those things where, yeah, that's kind of a problem. Because who is going to want to use this light rail service if it's faster to just like walk or ride a bike, or get a more circuitous bus that, covers a larger distance but gets you where you're going at the same rate or faster. It's just like, what is the point of you? The point, surely, of having a light rail service that covers this corridor and connects these different communities and potentially, sort of allowing them to more easily commute to other points sort of like north and south of this, because it was like going sort of east to west, I believe, in a bit of like sort of the northern GTA. It's great, but if the service is slow as molasses, then it's not really... You're not going to get the ridership numbers that you want, because people are just they've already got whatever alternatives they've been using thus far to get where they need to go. They're not going to choose this one if it's not a better alternative. And to make it a better alternative, it has to be well connected, but it also has to be fast enough that it's not making your commute longer. At least not by a significant margin. I think some people might be willing to accept a slightly longer commute on public transit if it means that they don't have to drive and like find a parking space and, pay for car insurance and go through all that stuff. But if it's so slow and bad, then yeah, no one's going to want to use it. And then do you find yourself in a situation where, well, nobody's using this, so we're gonna not fund it? Ah! Oh no! So yeah, maketh me a little bit sad that I've just had a really fun idea for a reference I want to put in the sign for one of these buildings. So I'm gonna start that after the break, and I swear after the break we'll actually paint some stuff. I promise we will. Look, I'm even taking out some paint tubes that I'm gonna need in order to do it. These are not the right colors. Where is my red paint? Anyways, we're going into an ad break, so apologies for that. But you're not gonna miss anything because I don't work through ad breaks. I take a little break myself. And this is a great opportunity for you to have a little stretch. Have a beverage if you haven't run recently. If you need to take your meds and you haven't done that yet, take your meds. Enjoy the BRB music. And I'm really sorry if you have to see ads, but you're not going to miss anything. We'll be back very shortly, and I might talk more about city planning. Who knows? But I shall see you in... I shall see you anon. And be right back, everybody. Yay, ads are done. Hi, I'm back. Welcome back, everybody. I had a very stupid idea. Unfortunately, this involves me having to write very, very, very teeny tiny baby-sized text onto a sign, which is, frankly, terrifying. But I shall try my best. I am going to use a little bit of violet. I think there was a little bit too much water on my brush, and now this violet is very, watery, but that's okay. Anyways, I hope you had a lovely break. It's lovely to be back. Hello. But yeah, sorry for going on some rants about, sorry and or you're welcome for going on some rants about, like, city planning and stuff and public transit. But believe it or not, these are things that I take a not insignificant interest in. To no one's surprise. Yeah, I just think they're neat. So here we are. The scale you're succeeding in right now is difficult to grasp, says Rex. Thank you, I think. Thank you. But... Okay. But yeah, I think they're neat. So, here we are. Doop. Okay. Just make a sort of pinkish red. That'll do. Delightful. So I've decided what this first place is going to be. And it is I don't know what a lot of the, like, actual businesses are on the actual street. I'm not like, without seeing it, it's hard to realize how truly small some of these details are. Yeah. Every once in a while, I will, when I raid someone and they're like, can we see what you were working on? And I will send, you know, sort of like a Discord link to a photo of my current whip. And they'll just go, wait a second, there's a thumb for scale. How small is that? Which I always find very funny, because I'm just used to working, I guess, at, like, fairly miniature scale. But it is a lot. Anyway, that is a long username. Thank you so much for the follow, too. Icon of the Seas Dining Room. Thank you very much for the follow. Welcome on in, and I hope you are well. What a fantastic username. Sorry that took me a minute. It always takes me a minute, and in fact, oh man, I'm so embarrassed. There was this one time that someone followed, and it was there, you know, because the usernames are often, like, potentially several words mashed into a single compound, like Icon of the Seas Dining Room. Again, delightful username, love it. But this person's username, I absolutely hideously misinterpreted where, like, the breaks between words in the compound were, and I thoroughly encourage people to tell me if I am mispronouncing their username, or if there's a specific, like, you know, variation on it, or, like, short form or something that they want me to call them. Please just let me know. Don't labor for, like, months or forever having me just say your name wrong. That's a cruise ship, says Rex. That makes so much sense. Oh my god, I'm being followed by a ship. That's cool. A whole ass boat. Can you believe to learn? Wizard. Anyways. Oh man, speaking of boats, I have for some days now had a Canadian classic stuck in my head, which is to do with sailing, uh, cruising the seas for American gold. We'd fire no guns, shed no tears. Now I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers. That's been stuck in my head for days and days and days. Stan Rogers, bless him, may he rest in peace. Absolute hero of Canadian folk music. And such a good song. Such a good song. We need more songs about, like, historic ship-based events. Because they're generally bangers. See also The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald by Gordon Lightfoot, of course. Don't worry, now it'll be stuck in all of our heads. Oh no, and you'll have me singing it stuck in your heads too. Oh no. And lamenting how you wish you were in Sherbrooke now. I'm so sorry. But also, if you have not heard Barrett's Privateers by Stan Rogers, please go look it up. Go look it up. Don't just don't just live with, like, my horrible singing of it. Just go actually look up Stan's version, because it slaps. It's great. It makes me feel good in my heart of hearts. And it got me thinking about how, like, I don't know, I wish that it's weird, obviously, because I don't live in Canada. But I wish that I had, like, the means as a creative person to do something that feels like it's contributing to, like, the body of, you know, Canadian creative work. And I guess technically, as a Canadian-born person, I am, but also, does my work feel Canadian? I don't know, probably not. I haven't lived there in over a decade. But also, I don't think that my work is bringing anything particularly British either. I don't know. National identity is confusing. I feel Canadian-ish in my heart, but I always feel a little bit removed when I go back to visit because I don't live there anymore. And I've changed from the person that I was when I lived there, because, you know, like, I've seen over a decade of being alive elsewhere, and you grow and you change and yada yada yada, and you get used to different things in different countries. That's why I made that video about cream. Katie's taking notes. Barrett's Privateers. Yes, exactly. Delightful stuff. Anyways, if that's the kind of thing that you're into, which I am, because I am, I don't know, I'm a nerd and I like folksy kind of shanty kind of music. I liked sea shanties. I liked sea shanties before they were cool, okay? That's how cool I am. Anyways, this this is gonna be so hard to do. Why have I done this to myself? I think most of these places are just gonna have, like, super boring names, like, you know, coffee or records. She sings she shanties by the seashore. Sisters. Yep. Exactly. Exactly. I don't think I'm good at tongue twisties, but I try. Anyways, you know. Oh man, you know that song? Who does the song? Who does the song? It's 80s. I think is it the Cult? She Sells Sanctuary. Is that the Cult? I can't remember. Anyways, that song. Every time I hear mention of She Sells Sanctuary, my brain just goes, She Sells Seashells by the Seashore. I feel like that's a different song, you know. Inside you'll find seashells. She sure shoes. It is the Cult. Thank you. I thought so, but I was having a musical brain fart there. I'm just gonna thin this paint down a little bit just so the lettering flows a little bit more. But hopefully it's still nice and opaque. And and the lines are nice and fine, hopefully. I don't know if you're going to be able to read this at all. But this shop sells auto parts. It's called Trans Rigs. If you get this reference, congratulations. Come, focus on my thumb. Look at my thumb. Look at the camera. Look at my thumb. Look at my thumb. You wanna get into focus? Yes, there it is. My penmanship, my lettering has never been particularly good or pretty. With things such as this, all I can do is aim for legibility. Yay! Somebody got the reference. It is a tiny little Drawfee reference. Yes, the Trans Rigs Auto Parts store. I had to do it as soon as it came into my head. Also, apparently they are doing a Trans Rigs stream this year. So that's exciting if you're into that kind of thing. I'm gonna do 3 exclamation points for Trans Rigs. Advent says, I'm so excited for the Trans Rig stream this year. Rest in peace. Hey, Karina's fine. She just doesn't work on that channel anymore. No rip in peace. If anything, rip in peace the thrilling conclusion of the Sonic Butthole saga, I suppose. But yeah, we had a chat, I think the week or the week after the announcement. I think I mentioned this on stream last week. I saw the announcement that Karina was leaving the Drawfee channel. If you're not familiar with Drawfee, they are a fairly large YouTube channel where they take dumb ideas and make even dumber drawings. And it's a fun time. It's a good channel. They also do a series of, I really like their like draw class streams that are a little bit more educational. Or just encouraging people to also do some art, which I love. I think that's super fun. But one of the presenters of the channel has left, and people be sad about it. And we talked about it a little bit last week. And yeah, I hope she goes on to do other stuff that she enjoys at least as much as she enjoyed doing this. And I hope she's thriving. She seems like a nice person. Yeah. Anyways, I look forward to seeing what they do on the channel going forward as well. And I'm quiet. Because I really hope I hope that looks enough like it says out. I think it's hard to tell. But I think you can probably glean from context cues that says auto parts and not auto pants. At least I hope so. But yes, Trans Rigs Auto Parts. Hell yeah. I am quite pleased with the way that's come out. I'm gonna actually do some line weight around this sign in the same color as I used for the text, which is basically just a very dark pink to kind of continue with the complementing the like trans pride color scheme of like pink, white, and blue. Which, I love the colors of the trans flag. I think they're so beautiful. I think that the designer did such a wonderful job choosing those colors. Though I also believe in not getting too stuck in your head about things like, am I using the exact hex code of the flag? Because these are emblems for community. They're not corporate logos that you're reproducing for, you know, like a graphic design job. So if it looks like the colors, then good. Are those birds I can hear singing outside your window? I bet they are. Because we have them. Yes, Tals, those are probably birds. I do. That's one of the things I absolutely love about this neighborhood is just the number of birds that I get to see. I saw, just the loveliest little sparrows the other day. So stinking cute. We've got sparrows and pigeons and jackdaws and crows and magpies and did I say pigeons? We've got pigeons and robins and tits of various kinds and gold crests and red kites. We've got, it's just this a buttload of birds in the neighborhood. It's so nice and it makes me so happy every time I see a bird. I'm just like, yay! I have been blessed. I love them so much. This is normal. These are normal thoughts and this is normal behavior. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Anyways. But yes, Advent says I'm very excited to see what she'll go on to do. Me too. I hope that she is doing what she needs to do to feel healthy and happy and fulfilled in her creative work. Yeah. Anyways. Ooh! Advent also says, I've recently started giving art a try and draw class has been very helpful. It is super nice. It's a nice chill, kind of just way of, stretching your creative muscles and spreading your creative wings and maybe learning a thing or two as well. They cover a different topic every month. Sometimes it's just like a guided practice. Sometimes it's let's do some gesture drawing together. Doing like some figuring out how to sketch from like, sort of a posed model, that kind of thing, using like photo references or what have you. And sometimes it's things like, here's how to, here's how to handle finances as an artist, which is another thing that you probably should be aware of. But yeah, Katie says, if I'm going to depict a pride flag in my artwork, I do try to get the right combination for the flag in question, but if I'm not doing digital art, I just pick the closest colors and go from there. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Like, if I'm using colored pencils or something, I've got 12 colored pencils. We're gonna make do, and it's gonna look like a pride flag. Yes. Anyways, I don't know if I saw someone on my socials recently had posted like a happy anniversary to me for like X number of years of being out as non-binary. It's just a shame that our flag is mid, and I was like, excuse you, it's good. I love that color scheme. It makes me happy. I love the non-beanie flag. I think it's delightful. I do not think it's mid. I think it rocks. I like that I like that it has like a monochromatic element, and I also like that the colors in it are the nice complement of like yellow, like a nice goldy yellow and then like a nice rich purple. I think they look so pretty together. But I don't know, maybe that's just me. I don't know if I could fully accept myself with an identity that has a pride flag that I don't think looks nice. I'm kidding. That's extremely secondary to feeling good about yourself. Anyways. Advent says, I like our flag. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. What was I gonna say? I think I talked about this last time, but I'll just briefly touch on it again. Is that I saw recommended to me. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I saw a YouTube video that was recommended to me that was a podcast by a couple of very younger than me by probably about 20 years, if I had to guess, or maybe 15 to 20 years, non-beanie people talking about like visually signaling to other queer people that you're queer and how do these things be, and they talked about sort of some of the like stereotypical like queer looks, like the cool gay mullet that's come in the last couple of years, and that kind of thing. And it just got me thinking about how, like, I mean, I could choose to look more like that if I wanted to, but like, I'm middle-aged, and that all feels like young people fashion to me. And that's not to say that you can't just dress however you want, no matter how old you are. Like, who cares? It doesn't matter. But on the other hand, it just doesn't feel like it fits me and who I am at this point, so I wouldn't want to do it. And someone in their comments described trying to capture, like, the queer aesthetic, if such a thing exists, as feeling like copying the cool kids rather than sort of being themselves. And I'm like, yeah, yeah. On the one hand, like, I get it because, like, you want to kind of, it's nice to be recognized for who you are. But on the other hand, it's like, I also just don't want to look like that because it doesn't feel authentic to who I am for me personally, and these things are very personal. And it got me thinking about how, like, for safety reasons in previous decades and centuries, there were much more, like, subtle coded ways of indicating to other people that you were queer, like getting a tattoo of a star, I think, on your inner wrist or your hand, potentially, was something that, like, butch lesbians would do, to, like, signal to other ladies that, like, hey ladies, I also like ladies, kind of thing. Or, sticking, like, a green carnation specifically in your buttonhole to indicate to other fellows that this fellow likes fellows, that kind of thing. Which, like, in many ways, it's nice that we live in a world that, at least until recently, has felt progressive enough that we kind of don't need to be quite so undergroundly coded in that way. But also, I'm just, as much as I do believe that you don't owe anyone, and, like, non-binary people don't owe anyone androgyny. Also, I don't think anyone sees me and thinks, ah, yes, a non-beanie. Unless you notice the little Starfleet pin that I'm wearing. Enough about that. Anyways, but yeah, Katie says, for digital art, I might, like, eyedropper the colors from a specific image, but that's only because that's possible for digital art. Yeah, exactly. I can't eyedropper tool this stuff. I'm just making an educated guess as best as I can based on, like, looking. And I think my eyes are pretty good. As far as I know, I don't have any kind of color blindness, so that helps. I'm always quietly amazed at artists who do, like, colorful artworks whilst being colorblind. Because that does definitely... There's a YouTube channel that I watch sometimes called Doodle Date, and there's two presenters. They are a couple. They're delightful. And he has a type of color blindness. And sometimes he'll be like, I think I'm going to use this color, and and his partner will be like, do you know that's green? And he was like, oh, I thought that was, like, a pale pink. And she's like, no! That's very cute. It's nice having that system of person to let you know. But also, it's really useful when paint colors or, like, the, acrylic markers or colored pencils or whatever you're using have color names that actually give you an indication of what this color is. Raw umber. Okay, I know what umber is. It's a kind of brown. So even if I can't tell by looking that it's a kind of brown, because it looks the same to me as, like, let's say, the sort of sap green, I know that it's umber because it's called umber. When the colors are, when all of the colors are just different, like, serial numbers, like, this is A123, this is A122, blah, 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 it's like, okay, what color is that, though? It's a lot easier to think that you've picked up pink and you've actually picked up gray, right? So I really appreciate when they give them names that actually give you an indicator of, even though they're sometimes slightly wrong, because I've definitely had colors where I'm like, it calls itself blue, and I'm like, I'm sorry, that's a bluish green, that kind of thing. But, like, this, they could, if they just called this G873, it's like, okay, but they call it also Edo Violet. Okay, fantastic. Now I know this is in the violet family of colors. Fantastic. Jacob Drawfee is colorblind as well. That is true. And would never have guessed this apart from the fact that he mentioned it one time and basically just memorized where all the colors sit on the color wheel so that he can pick the right colors for whatever he's trying to do. Which is very cool. Anyways, but also I'm very glad that I can just see colors. As far as I'm aware, I can just see colors. I think when I was in primary school, they did give everyone, like, a color blindness test. And I'm pretty sure I got a, yeah, no, you can see colors just fine score on the color blindness test. So, yay, I guess. It's not exactly something I had to work hard at. It's one of those tests where I'm like, yay, I passed the test. I put no effort into this. It's fine. Okie dokie. So I'm gonna do a blue sign for this one here. And what sort of place? So we've got Transrig's Auto Parts there. What's gonna be next door to Transrig's Auto Parts, I wonder? I can't actually tell what the sign is on the actual place, but I'm not necessarily going by like what the actual businesses are on like the inspiration thing, because who cares? I can do whatever I feel like. So we've got Transrig's Auto Parts, and what's gonna be next to it? I don't know. Let's go. There seemed to be a proliferation, at least where I live, of like tea places doing like boba tea and stuff. Do I like boba tea? No. But lots of other people do, so I'm gonna make a little boba tea place where you can go and get yourself a yummy milk tea with little pearls in it if you want to, or maybe just have tea. It's whatever you feel like. I'm gonna take a sip of my tea. Deliciousness. And yeah, I'm going to just honestly feel good about the fact that I'm actually getting painting done today, because oof. Okay. What am I gonna... Ah, geez, I gotta come up with a name for this place now. I'm just gonna call it It's Tea. It's just called It's Tea. And you can go there and get tea. It's tea! Exclamation point. I like popping pearls. I'm not that into tapioca, says Advent. I don't think I've had the... Have I had the little pearls? I'm not sure. I'm actually not sure if I've had the little pearls. But, I've had the little tapiocas. I think what I also found about the boba tea that I have had was that it was very strong and very sweet. And I am a person with a ravenous sweet tooth, and I found that tea, like, way too sweet for my liking. So maybe that was on me for ordering the wrong one. I don't know. But I think I would prefer... I prefer... I've been to tea places that do like boba tea and also the little like bubble tea. Because there is a difference between boba and bubble. Bubbles are the ones that are like little things that pop and have like stuff in them. And boba is the one that is made out of like tapioca, little like nuggets of tapioca that are cooked down in brown sugar. But I've been to tea places that do thems and just gotten like a tea that doesn't have bits in it, and the tea was fine. It was nice. I think I just don't like bits in my tea. But lots of people like bits in their tea, and I support that. There was a tea place. I have no idea if it's still there because I haven't been down that part of town in a very long time. But I used to work in an office as a day job that was near this little like courtyard of shops. There was a little market in the courtyard a couple times a week as well. And there was a tea place that had opened up, and I didn't get tea there. I think I just bought bits from there because they also just sold a small selection of Asian groceries, which I find useful and delicious. But they had tea, and I remember it was the first place I'd ever seen do cheese tea, which sounds absolutely disgusting. Like, that sounds like a horrible combination. It sounds like there's going to be, like, curdled chunks in your tea, which does not appeal at all. But it turns out that it's more like a sort of like cheesecake foam, I guess. It sure does not sound good, says Tels. Yeah, I see cheese tea and I think, no, I do not want that. But it's actually like, I think it's like a cheesecake-esque foam that they put on top of the tea, in a similar manner to which you'd put like whipped cream on top of a beverage. I still have not had it, and I do not think that it would be for me. But it sure exists. And I'm sure there must be some people out there who are really into it. Yeah, Katie's like, I'm sorry, cheese tea? Cheese tea. It's called cheese tea. Cheese tea, says Rex. Yep. Mm-hmm. Let me see if I can find, just so you can see what I'm talking about, because it doesn't, like, it looks like it probably tastes good. It looks like it probably tastes good. Here's an article from Eater saying that it is a food trend in the making. I don't know when that was from, because this was quite a few years ago, but Anyways, I'm about to, I'll stick a, so it doesn't look as gross as it sounds, at least. Like, so it's got like so it's like a milk tea that's iced, and then it's got like a foamy head on top. So it's, I guess, similar to, like, they do cold foam and stuff on iced coffees and that kind of thing. Now, I have never had a cold foam situation because I'm not really that big into, like, cold brew. If I get an iced coffee, I just want just put an espresso shot on ice and top it up with milk, please. Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, so I think there's like a cheesecake element to the foam that is fluffed on top of the tea, and you can get different flavors as well of things that might go with a cheesecakey flavor, like mango cheesecake tea, mango cheese tea, or, you know, like matcha cheese tea or whatever. But yeah, the name cheese tea does not appeal. Katie says, then say cheesecake tea or cheesecake foam or something. SMH. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it most definitely originated somewhere where the first language is not English. If I had to guess, based on trends in these sorts of teas and that kind of thing, probably somewhere like Taiwan. So possibly, like, I don't know, sweet cheese is just more of a thing. But yeah. So I've never had cheese tea. I would try it. Just if it's still something that they're doing, because, you know, these trends move at a breakneck pace these days, because things get Instagrammed and they become trendy, and then everybody does them and then they kind of die again. So who knows? But yeah. Rex says, it's a trend in America right now. An espresso shot in Coca-Cola topped with cold foam. And it always has a name like Gas Guzzler or Rust Bucket, and I don't understand. That sounds bad. I mean, okay, so I watched a video yesterday about, Wikipedia says originating in Taiwan, so good call, says Tals. I know my stuff when it comes to tea. Are you surprised? But yeah, Taiwan is an excellent producer of teas. I think these days, among a lot of people, it's more known for its, like, Instagrammable teas, like cheese foam teas and the various sort of interesting boba type things. But with that being said, the tea that is grown in, especially I think the like green oolong teas that grow in Taiwan, some of them are so superlative and delicious. I don't want to put stuff in them because they are so yummy all by themselves. But Rex has reminded me, it's definitely more of a thing in America, and I guess to a certain extent a thing in Canada, than it is here in the United Kingdom. That, like, coffee is just, it's just dessert. Coffee is just, I feel like this has been a thing for a really long time, but when I see, like, an American YouTuber or, like, an American person saying, you know, like, oh, you know, like, my, you know, first thing in the morning, I always, I get my regular coffee order, which is, an extra large iced coffee with 16 pumps of hazelnut syrup, cold foam, and sugar cookie sprinkles, and I'm just like, that's dessert. That's dessert. I don't want to hot take this, but I do think that there are two possibilities if your go-to coffee And your coffee experience generally involves, like, 2 figures of pumps of syrup and this, that, and the other, caramel drizzles, cold foam, hot foam, whipped cream, mango chunks, and four Timbits blended into it, which apparently is the coffee drink that they make at Dunkin' Donuts. They don't call them Timbits. I don't know what they call them at Dunkin' Donuts, but you know what I mean. You might not actually like coffee that much. And that's okay. But also, the coffee might just not be very good. And I say both of these things because there are, as my preferred coffee is either like a filter coffee that I make at home using a nice coffee bean, or an espresso based beverage, usually with milk. So just like a flat white or a latte from a nice coffee shop that does good coffee. I do not, if I'm going to, that said, if I'm going to a chain where I know that I think that the taste of, like, the coffee they serve is mid, that's when I go for something flavored. And I will go for something flavored in those situations. If I want to be reasonably not too silly, I'll just get a mocha, because that's just, it's got chocolate in it. Automatically delicious. Zoodle Noob says, Coca-Cola topped with cold foam. God bless America, because we sure damn need it. Oh my god. I mean, your coffee orders are terrifying, I will say that. You can go to Dunkin' Donuts and order a bucket of iced coffee. Why would you want this? Oh my goodness. If there's more sweet ingredients in your coffee order than coffee, you probably just want the caffeine buzz without the actual coffee taste. And I'm going to be real with you, if there's that much sugar in your order, you're getting a sugar rush and not a caffeine buzz, too. You're very right, Katie. And I do feel like that's what's going on with a lot of, like, the sort of chain coffee situations in America, because good lord. I mean, can you do interesting things with combining coffee with other flavors? Yes, absolutely yes. You know, and a lot of them are delicious and interesting and use that flavor as, you know, an ingredient in a combined beverage with other interesting, cool stuff, and yum. But there are also situations where it's like, it was a really hot day and I went to Costa Coffee and I ordered a coffee frappe because, it was a hot day and I just needed something that was going to cool me down extremely quickly, and I find the best way to do that is to get something that's got ice blended into it, right? So I got a coffee frappe, and I could barely have told you that there was coffee in it. It was kind of just creamy and sweet. Like, where's the coffee? This is the frappe for people who don't actually like the taste of coffee, I swear. Again, this is fine. You don't have to like coffee. There are other drinks. You can have a strawberry lemonade. I love a strawberry lemonade. Yum, yum, yum. Yeah, Katie's not a coffee person, and that's okay. But I think the thing that horrified me most, learning about the state of chained beverages in America was, okay, it shouldn't surprise me at all. Crumble cookies, which there's a crumble cookie in my hometown, not far from my favorite supermarket in said town that I used to shop at when I lived there, and I have a lot of nostalgia for. It's just a regular supermarket. I'm just silly like that. But and there are other supermarkets that are probably nicer, honestly, but that's the one that I gravitate towards because it's the one I remember. But anyways, not far from that particular supermarket, there is a branch of Crumble Cookies. They've made it into Canada. Crumble Cookies is a chain that sells cookies, unsurprisingly. And the thing that horrifies us all about Crumble Cookies is the fact that a single cookie is 1,000 calories. And I don't understand it. I go to my local supermarché here in the UK. I get a reasonably sized cookie. It's about this big. It's double chocolate chip or whatever. It's 200 calories a cookie. What the hell are they putting in these things? I would not eat there. I do not want to give them my money. It's terrifying. Yeah, wait. 1,000 says tell us. 1,000. Crumble Cookie is a whole can of worms on its own, says Katie. They started a trend for dirty sodas. They have a beverage. Okay, yesterday I learned. Crumble Cookies sells a beverage because they also sell dirty soda type things. I don't remember what's in it. I think it's kind of a tropical tasting situation, but it has, I don't remember how many calories, but it is a beverage that is in, sort of a standard, like, distressingly large American-sized beverage cup, to be fair. But it has 186 grams of sugar. 186 grams of sugar. That is more sugar than a human being should consume in a day of added sugar. No! And I say this is someone with a ravenous sweet tooth. Okay, I love sweet things. There is sugar in my strawberry pomegranate tea. Do you want to know how much? 2 teaspoons. Which makes it a nice, sweet tasting beverage. What the hell are they doing to these things? Absolutely, I don't get crumble cookies. They aren't even that great, says Advent. I ranted to my moderator / spouse about this yesterday. Because A, I agree. And B, I mean, I haven't had them. But I know that the company is one of those companies. I would have a little bit more grace for it if it was at least founded by people who just really love baking and specifically cookies, but it wasn't. It was founded by people who wanted to make a profitable business. And I'm just like, eh. And I know that's, like, fairly normal, but it's like, at least if you just cared about baking. I like going to bakeries where I feel like the people baking just really want to make baking that's really good, Like, there's a donut stand where they make gluten-free donuts at in Selfridge's Food Hall in London, and it was founded by a guy who loves donuts and wanted gluten-free donuts, so he developed a recipe for gluten-free donuts that are really good. And now he has a stand in Selfridge's Food Hall where he sells gluten-free donuts, and they're really good. That's my jam when it comes to baked goods, damn it. Anyways, but we've got a bit of context here. Artrex says, dirty soda is soda with flavored syrups. Popularized, which, most soda beverages are already sweet, and then you're adding more to them. Popularized by the Mormon community that wanted to go out and have fun cocktails when they disallowed alcohol, it spread to the mainstream. Yeah. And I very much appreciate having options and opportunities for interesting and innovative and fun and delicious beverages when you do not drink alcohol. So I don't drink alcohol most of the time. And so going to, like, a bar that has a whole bunch of really interesting themed drinks made by, their, like, head mixologist, and then what's available to me? Oh, good. Fentimans, cola, or lemonade. Wow, okay. Like, who cares? But yeah, wow, unsurprising. Katie says that a crumble cookie came out of Utah, which is the Mormon capital of the universe. So yeah, it makes sense that they'd be doing dirty sodas because, as they say, that was popularized by Mormon folks who don't drink alcohol and apparently have zero regard for their sugar intake. Rex says you can't eat a crumble cookie in one setting. They're massive. It's really hard to tell based on photos I've seen online because they look like a regular-sized cookie from the pictures. But also, good lord. The thing is, like, challenge accepted. I could absolutely be like, wow, this is a really big cookie, and eat, like, half of it and be like, yeah, that's fine, and then eat the other half, like, later that day, and not realize that I'd consumed 1,000 calories of cookie. So yeah, Mormons have some kind of coffee restrictions as well, but it's selective. It's, okay, as far as I'm aware, and anyone who is a practicing Mormon, or is familiar with that culture, feel free to correct me in the chat, but I'm fairly sure that they're not allowed to have, like, hot coffee or tea, generally, but they can have caffeinated soda. I don't understand how those rules work. I don't know. It's okay. That being said, when I was in secondary school, I went on one singular date with a Mormon boy. He looked just like Leon Trotsky if Leon Trotsky was a teenaged boy. And And we went out for coffee, so I don't think his family were particularly strict. He was a nice boy. His mother was my homeroom teacher in secondary school one year, and she would come into, years later when I was just, you know, an adult with a job, she would come into the library where I worked and give me little updates on how he's doing, and I'm like, bless, I literally had coffee with him one time. It was not that serious. I was 15. Anyways, let me catch up with chat. Q2's hello, man, it's hot. Can you send me ice cream? It might be a little bit liquid by the time it gets to you. I don't have any dry ice I can pack it on, but I could try. Anyways, other than the heat, how are you doing? I hope you're well. It's lovely to see you. Rex says they're like 4 to 6 inches in thick with 2 C's. I believe Rex is talking about cookies. This is an adult stream for grown-ups, but I'm pretty sure that Rex is talking about cookies. Anyways. How am I? I'm okay. I'm okay. I've had a bit of a week, but I'm feeling relatively normal today in terms of, you know, baseline level of Twitch user Sammy Kelch tiredness. I've also been... I've been hard at work on the script for a new video. I've got a commission that I'm working on. Things are happening. Yes, cookies, says Rex. I figured as much, but I figured I'd just clarify for anyone who's just coming into stream. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I missed one stream because I have a very long bagged milk part 2. It's Q2's. It's coming. It's coming. It's on its way. It'll be here relatively soon. I think I have crested the hill of the script, and now I'm coasting to the conclusion. So yeah, there's a new video on the horizon on my YouTube channel. If you are not subscribed to my YouTube channel and you want to see me do weird deep dives on stuff and occasionally do a bit of baking maybe, but also other stuff, ta-da! My channel no longer really has a theme. Because I have an attention deficit and I can't pick a singular topic to make videos about. And I realize that algorithmically, this is going to harm my channel's growth in the long run, but if I only cared about channel growth, I don't know. I would be doing something very different. I mean, who cares? Gotta play it cool, says Q2's. Yeah. Yeah, definitely, please, it's fine. I don't care if you don't care about my videos. It's fine. Like, what, it's like, whatever, okay? Anyways, where's my, shoot, where's, no, where's, wait, yeah, primary white. I want to, ever so slightly, and I'm just going to take a bit out with a different brush, because I don't want to get purple paint onto the white paint. This is the brush that I use to put masking fluid, so it's fine. It doesn't matter if it gets messy. I just want to ever so slightly pastel out this violet, but not too much. Geez, I think that's too much. I think I need to add more violet to this now. Shoot. Heck. Okay, it's fine. Imagine if that is the video that randomly goes viral. Q2's every single time I release a video to YouTube, I'm like, oh god, oh shoot, oh no, oh heck. What if this is the one? What if this is the video that the algorithm picks up and gets like 100,000 views? Like what if? Oh no. Were mistakes made? What am I doing? And again, I repeat, oh no. Because, like, for real, what if? No. I mean, if that's the case, then people are going to be disappointed going forward, but, you know.
Shoppers.
Speaking of, well, hello! Welcome in! Hello. It's so lovely to see you. How was your stream? Welcome and thank you so much for the raid. Cece, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome. And hello, raiders. Hello. Hello indeed to Cece, hello, hello, hello. Then you'll be forever known as the bag milk lady. No! Quill, hello, hello, welcome in. Wacky Waluigi, hello, hello, hello. I hope you are well. Thank you so much for the big pride, and a happy Pride Month to you too. We are indeed getting very proud in here with our gay little street scene. Dirty Tiff, welcome on in. How are you doing? It's lovely to see you. And Quill, how was your stream? What did you do today? I hope you had a wonderful time. Let me get a shout out for you in the chat. If I can spell correctly, that'd be super great. If you're not familiar with the work of the lovely Quill, please, please, please go give him a follow, because Quill is really cool and does really fun stuff, is really fun to hang out with, and does very cool art and stuff. And if you like fantastical good times and a nice place to hang, I gazillion out of 10 do recommend. And so you should. How was your stream? What you get up to today? And if there is anything that you would like to share art tax wise, you are more than welcome to whisper a link in my direction. I'd be very happy to share with the class. But if you just want to chill, that's also okay. And for anyone who's new here, hi, welcome in. We are doing some very, very queer artwork for Pride Month, because we love that kind of thing here. I've decided that this is going to be a florist. So far we have the Trans Rigs Auto Parts store. We've got a little tea shop just called It's Tea. And then we've got, tea for trans. I didn't even do that on purpose. That's perfect. Okay. And then this is just going to be a little florist, I think. But yes, fantastical times, the glowing review I shall treasure. And yes, you deserve all the glow in the world, my friend. I'm working in gouache today, but most of the time I work in watercolor, so apologies if it's a little bit scruffy. I'm still getting to grips with having paints that can be opaque. No art text today, I was just editing for my next YouTube vid. Ooh, very exciting. Gotta raid and run, but have a great stream. Thank you very much indeed. And thank you again for the raid. I very much do appreciate it. And for anyone who's new here, hi, my name is Twitch user Sammy Kelch. I'm a variety streamer. I do cozy art streams on Mondays and most Thursdays. I do cozy game streams on Friday mornings, and every once in a while on a Thursday if I'm feeling a little bit extra crispy. Today I am the texture of melted ice cream. So make of that what you will. But yes, anywho. We're doing a little street scene, and you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do this because I can. So Quill was working on a new YouTube vid. So let's get a link to Quill's YouTube channel in the chat if you want to go give Quill a follow over on YouTube. I also wholeheartedly recommend that. I am also subscribed, and he does some interesting things over there as well. So and T for testosterone, says Advent. Oh my god, that's also true! All of the puns! All of the unintended puns! Shoot! I should have, I am tempted to paint over this and do it again. I should have named the tea shop HRT. Y'all, what if I had named the tea shop HRT? My intention is not and was not to make all of these punny names for the shops, but that's... Oh no! We're gonna have to redo it. So stupid! It's so stupid, but shoot! I can bin it. Start again, says Rex. I think I have to do it. That's good. That's good. At least I think that's good. Apologies to any trans siblings in the chat who don't think that that's good, but also I'm correct. That's silly and good. Yeah, you got plenty of buildings. You don't need to actually restart, says Rex. No, I think I have to do it. I think I have to do it. It's okay. Delete your art. It's fine. Anyways, for anyone who's just come in on Quill's raid, yes, things are normally this unhinged. I know I'm hashtag cozy and hashtag chill, but I can't help but let the chaos get in every once in a while. And by every once in a while, I mean every stream repeatedly. If you want to know what I'm about as an artist when I'm not in progress, I can show you some previous works. Here's a piece that I did for Hollow Knight Art Month that I think also just exemplifies the kind of things that I like to do. It's got rail-based public transit they're in, and also I put Hornet in an outfit that I own and think looks cute. So this was a very self-indulgent piece. I was just like, what if I make one of the Bell stations from Silk Song look like a station on which line is it? Shoot, I think it's the Circle of District line. Anyways, follow the joy, says Tals. Hell yeah. Pretzels. Anyways, but yeah, that's something that and then we've got here are some gay hamsters from the Victorian era. They are riding a bicycle together, as you do. Obviously it's helpful to have a wife help you steer, because your little hands can't, sort of ride the bike and also steer, because the bike is frankly too big. I don't know how they're using the pedals, because they've got such little leggies. Don't question it. Hamster magic, I guess. Anyways, they are, please note the painting of a violet in the background there that was very obviously emblematic. Let's be real. They love each other very much. Anyways, happy Pride Month, everybody. We are going to head into an ad break now. I'm so sorry. But thank you for hanging out if you have and continue to do so. We're going to have a nice fun time continuing this painting, probably. And I'm having fun. I hope y'all are having fun too. And probably nattering about stupid things as you do. And getting less work done than you thought you were going to. It's 2 hours in and I've done these 2 signs. Oh my god, what am I doing? Okay, there are enough rainbow buildings for each one to start with the LGBTQ letters, and the last one could be a plus-size closing sign. Oh, I love that. That's super cute. Oh, that's delightful. Anyways, I gotta go because you're about to get ads. I'm sorry if you have to see ads, but you're not going to miss anything because I'm going to be on break as well. Enjoy the BRB music in the meantime, and BRB, everybody. Hello, friends. I'm back. Thank you so much for sticking around. It's good to be back. So, whilst we were away, I just went ahead and deleted my art. I said I was gonna do it, and I wanted to do it, and I did it, and it feels good. Sometimes it's okay. Sometimes you try something, and then you have a better idea, and you decide to push forward with the better idea. Is this dry enough for me to layer over it with more, of my ultramarine? I hope so. Gonna add a little bit more of the tube paint to that so it's reasonably thick and opaque. And then we're gonna go ahead. Anyways, welcome back, friends. I think this is an important lesson. As an artist, it's sometimes it's hard not to be precious about something, about your artwork, even when geez, it's not working. Some element of it isn't working, and you have to go back and just fix it, or you have an idea that's better and you have to go back and fix it. And it's okay. Advent says delete your art. That is as a phrase, that is a Drawfee classic, but it's also just a useful thing to kind of have in your back pocket to remember as an artist. That you can. Because this is frankly too good for me to not do. It's a tea shop called HRT. There we go. I'm gonna go get myself a brown sugar boba at HRT. Again, I did not go into this thinking I'm going to make gay punny names for all of these, and I don't know if I will. But it came to me, and listen, I had to do it. I had to do it. It was too silly. It was too good. I'm just gonna slightly fix the H. There we go. Okay, HRT. Perfect. I don't know. I just think it's better. So there we are. But then that also begs the question of, now what the hell is the name of the next shop going to be? Because again, I was not doing puns for all of them. It is for trans human resources workers. Yep. That's that. Yes, exactly. Yes, perfect. Oh, geez. I was really hoping we. Honestly, I am tempted to try and make a little bit of progress on this off stream. I had hoped to be done this piece by now. Something about violet, says Katie. Ooh, yes, definitely. I was thinking either lavender or violets, because that's all it's gonna fit on there. If you don't know, violets have long since been the reason that they appear in my art. In fact, they appear in both of my hamster artworks as a painting that they have in their sitting room here. But additionally, you'll note that the fields around them here are dotted with violets. I want to do another painting of these two. As soon as I'm done this piece, I will probably do another painting of these two. But yeah, the hills are dotted with violets because the violet has long since been a symbol of sapphic love. And I thought that was nice. In a similar vein, lavender is also a long-standing symbol of queerness, which is why I have a tattoo of a lavender stalk on my arm. Also, I just love lavender. I think it smells really good. So it's a nice reminder for that reason as well. But yes. Pseudo Loop apparently marathoned Deltarune recently for no reason at all. No reason, or is it the reason because you find it fun? That's a reason. Anyways, I hope you had fun. I hope you did have fun doing it. I hope it was a good time. What have I been playing? Mostly at the moment I've been playing Tomodachi Life every day. And I'm still making my way through Silk Song, obviously. But what was I gonna say? Something occurred to me today after I played a bit of Tomodachi Life at my lunch hour. And that's that as a person who is no doubt 100% definitely neurotypical, I think over the course of my life I have had a tendency to potentially overestimate or overstate to what extent I'm friends with some people. Like, some people I'm like, okay, this is a solid friendship, this person is my friend. But then sometimes it's like, I meet someone, and we have a nice time, and we talk, like, semi-regularly, and we follow each other on social media, and blah, 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 that's my friend. But it turns out that that's probably actually just an acquaintance to them. So, yeah. And sometimes I hit that wall of realization and then feel bad about myself because I assumed that person valued our friendship or thought of me as a friend, and it turns out that they probably didn't. And that always feels a little bit bad. Sometimes someone that my brain tends to jump to, I have a friendly interaction with this person, we are friends now. Or historically I have tended to do that. And then I found there was one time when I just assumed I was friends with someone because we had regular friendly interactions, and I found out from a third party that they actually didn't like me at all and found me annoying, and I was like, what? But he's been so nice to me! I thought we were friends! I've been annoying him this whole time? Jeez. Well, that sucks. And felt really bad. And this is so stupid. But, so I have had an interaction, or like a very vague social media based interaction with someone today who I think I've probably like replied to. Anyways, they've followed my account, so we're mutuals now because I was following them previously, and we have a number of mutual friends and acquaintances in common. And I do not feel confident that I can say that this person is my friend. But I think what I can say is that on the Tomodachi Life scale of acquaintanceship with another individual, we are at seems like-minded stage, with a little green speech bubble above our heads. And it's kind of nice being able to actually really separate out and classify how, like, what is my relationship to this person. This person, I don't know this person well enough to actually think of them as a friend, I don't think. But I could probably think of them as, you know, could be friends, or seems like-minded, or getting acquainted, that kind of thing. That's useful. That's useful. I think acquaintances is too broad of a category to mean that much to me and my need for clarity and precision in all things. And it's oftentimes really hard to get that out of social interactions. Like, oh man, I just don't socialize that much these days outside of my house. So it's less of a big deal. But, you know, I oftentimes kind of struggled with, like, am I friends with this person now? Or are they just talking to me because I'm there? Does this person actually like me, or are they just being polite? Does this person actually like me as a friend, or are they flirting with me and I don't realize that they're flirting with me, and they think that I'm flirting back, and it's gonna get awkward soon? You know, clarity is kindness, y'all. This stuff is confusing. Anyway, Pseudonym says Deltarune is a lot more fun when you actually remember what happened last time. That makes sense. You know, I do appreciate a last time on blah 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 recap. I just started watching the 3rd season of Deep Space Nine for the first time in many years, and it's been a couple months since I finished watching the 2nd season, so it was nice being reminded of where we are in the storyline at this point. And getting to hear Majel Barrett's computer voice say, you know, like, previously on Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Oh, my heart. Anyways. Advent says, a lot of people here at least hate to be thought of as an acquaintance. I don't know where I was going. Anyways. But yeah, I think it always feels a little bit like, if you find out that you were thinking of someone as a friend and they're thinking of you as an acquaintance, you probably feel a little bit like, oof. Oh, okay. I know I do. But I tend to these days assume that people... I don't like to assume that people don't like me, but I tend to assume that I'm not particularly important to most people that I interact with on the regular. Like, you know, I don't assume that, like, the barista that's friendly to me is my friend, because that would be weird. That's an acquaintance. That's a friendly acquaintance. Hello, my darling.
Hello, acquaintance.
Babe, are we friends? I thought I was your best friend. He just, my moderator / spouse just called me an acquaintance, and now I'm freaking out. He's my best, babe, you're my best friend. You know that, right?
I was a bit presumptuous.
I love you.
I love you too.
Yay!
Didn't make me friends though.
We're best friends. We're best friends. It's fine, chat. Anyways. Okay. I think I'm going to name this little shop Violette. Like Violet. Phew, close one, says Katie. I know, I was nervous there for a second. Violet. Delightful. I might do... Maybe they've got a little mural of a violet in the window of their little shoppy. I think that would be very cute as well. Okay. And I might do... Ooh! I might put a little, like, stand out front with some little, like, flower displays. Crisis averted, says Advent. Yep. Babe. One moment, chat. I love you so 20 minutes? Great news, chat! Great news, everyone! I'm making cabbage roll dinner for dinner tonight, and I'm very pumped about this. You probably don't know what cabbage roll dinner is, because I invented it. Cabbage roll dinner is... So, cabbage rolls, at least the Hungarian way of making them, totot kapusta, they are... Normally, you would take a head of cabbage, you would click off the leaves, and then cook the leaves in boiling water, blanch them, and then you take the cooked leaves, you cut out the tough spines, and put a filling of traditionally like ground pork with rice and some seasonings, and cook that in like a paprika tomatoey sauce, and then you'd serve it with a garnish of sour cream, right? So that takes absolutely bloody ages. Because you wrap them up, and then you put them in a big pot, and then you cook them again for a very, very long time. It is laborious, and it takes hours. And it is one of the most delicious foods that a human being can put in their face. It is maximum comfort food to me, and I love them so much. But guess what? I ain't got time for that. I am a tired bear. And I just don't have it in me to do that, and I don't have the freezer space to put like several months worth of cabbage rolls at once into the freezer. So here's how I make cabbage rolls, is I use corn mince because I don't eat meats. I take my corn mince, I take my rice, I take some garlic and paprika, and I chop up cabbage, and I cook that all together with some tomatoey gubbins in it, in one pan, and it takes like 30 minutes, and when you serve it with, in this case I'm just using kefir because I don't have sour cream, but it has the same effect. It is very delicious and very close to the experience of just eating a cabbage roll, because it's all the same ingredients, you've just cooked it in, like a tenth of the time. And I love that for me, so... Significantly less laborious and puts a lot less heat into the kitchen on a reasonably hot day, and I'm happy about that. So that's what I call cabbage roll dinner, because it is basically a deconstructed cabbage roll that takes, like, literally 10% of the time to make. So, I consider that a big win for me. So we have Violette here, the lovely little flower shop, and I do think, I'm trying to decide what I want to do with the windows, but I think it'd be cute to have a little, like, mural of a big flower or something in the window, but I think I'll do the signs first. I think I'll do the signs first, but now that I've said that out loud, I'm like, oh, geez, I don't know. Also, I just opened my phone to get my reference photo up, and when I was on break, I was checking my email. It turns out there's a sale on at Toast, and so now I'm just... And so I was greeted with, like, ooh, clothes that are on sale. Still too expensive, but, the tempting side of too expensive. Actually, no, £95 for a waistcoat that I don't think would look very good on me and I'd have to do some tailoring to. Pass. I'll just make one from scratch. It'll be cheaper and look better. Anyways, heck, what is this place gonna be? What is this place gonna be? Oh, heck, I don't know. We've got a tea place, we've got a flower shop, we've got an auto parts shop. What else do we need? Excellent question. Oh, geez. Sorry for the shaky cam. I hit the camera with my knuckle. Are you all okay? I hope you're all right. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to think of, like, shops that exist. They don't all have to be gay puns, but I do think that the gay puns are very fun. Heck. What else should I do? My brain is... I think my brain is melted. Earthquake says Tels, oh my god, are you okay? I'm so sorry. Here, let me gently hold you all until you feel a little bit more cozy. Here, let me just pat. It's gonna be okay. Katie says this makes sense as a deconstruction of an existing dish. Some places think deconstruction is let's put every ingredient on the hamburger on the plate individually instead of an assembled burger. Oh, that's so stupid. Yeah, I had a deconstructed apple pie once, and it was indeed like it was 5 little cubes of cooked apple in front of 5 little sort of piped like sort of plops of custard and 5 little circles of pastry. Was it delicious when I assembled them myself? Yes, but I shouldn't have had to do the labor of assembling it myself. That's another thing that apparently people are doing, is that they are going to coffee shop chains like Starbucks and getting deconstructed coffees. So they're getting this is such a waste of freaking resources. I hate it. And also, why would you want this? Like your beverage experience is going to be worse, and you've also wasted several cups that are not reusable. So they are separately ordering like a cup of ice, 2 shots of espresso in another like full-size cup, and also some milk, and then whatever, and putting it together. It's like, you know, the barista is paid to make that drink for you. Why this is not? It's not more delicious. It's not. Is it that much fun? If it's that much fun, can I recommend just getting a coffee brewer and making yourself coffee at home? Because that's cheaper and you don't need any single-use cups. Wow. I mean, what a stupid concept. I do think there are certain, like, you know, these coffee shops where you can like maximum customize your beverage. And I think some of the ways that people try to customize their beverage are doing it in ways that they are trying to, like, quote unquote, cheat the system and effectively get more stuff for the same amount of money. Like saying, let's say, oh, can I have a small caramel latte in a medium-sized cup? Now, you might be doing that because you want to add more milk to it yourself because you like a milkier latte or whatever. But also, you might be hoping that because they're pouring it into a bigger cup, you will just end up getting more volume of beverage. And that is probably not going to be the case. I think one of the most interesting, like, coffee beverage experiences that I had... I'm sorry, we're talking about weird coffee beverages again. One of the weirdest coffee beverage experiences that I had, it was an incredibly hot day. I had been walking for about 10-15 minutes in direct sunlight, and I was feeling like absolute boo-boo garbage. I needed to hydrate, like, stat. I went to a coffee shop chain, and I said, can I have an iced latte, please? And to my dismay, but unsurprise, he said, I'm sorry, we're out of ice. And I'm not surprised because, like, it is a stupid hot day. They're going to have a massive... And it was an unexpectedly stupid hot day as well. So they were going to have a massive rush on iced beverages, and they ran out of ice. Okay, fine. So I said to him, all right, could I order an iced latte, please? But just, like, pour the cold milk on top of the espresso shots. It doesn't have to have ice in it. I don't care if it's tepid. I just want a not hot latte. And he was like, oh, I don't know. I don't know if I'm allowed to do that. It's not going to be good. And I'm like, I don't care. But I didn't want to fight with this guy because, you know, he's just a barista working at a chain coffee shop. And that's probably not something that's on their menu. So he's like, I don't know how to do that. Even though it's literally just pour the same amount of milk that you'd normally put on an iced latte onto a shot of espresso. And I recognize that it's going to be tepid, and I don't care. I drink tepid coffee all the time. But I wasn't gonna bother that guy, so I ended up just getting, like, a sparkling water or something, and, like, one of those sparkling, like, fruity waters, San Pellegrino. And it was bad, because I didn't want a fizzy drink. I wanted just something cold. Yeah. Anyways, I just thought it was weird that he wouldn't let me order an iced latte that didn't have ice in it. I'm like, yes, I realize that that's going to be a tepid room temperature latte. I don't care. I don't care. I I didn't think that was as weird of an order as apparently it was. But yeah, deconstruction of things is just like, it was very trendy for a while, and I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get it. If you realize you wanted milk in your coffee after getting it, getting the milk separately makes sense. Getting all the drink parts separately, however, makes no sense, says Katie. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. It's like, wow, let's assemble it. It's like, you could just, why get someone else to make the espresso for you if you're just going to make yourself a coffee? Why not just, save on cups and just make yourself a coffee at home? Like, just get yourself a dang French press. They're not expensive. Buy a bag of coffee and make it at home. You will save so much money. And cups. There's also a guy I used to know, and, this was Starbucks, so I can't feel too terrible about it. There's this guy that I used to know in my hometown. My hometown was at least at the time, a real, stomping ground for, hippie types. And this was a guy who, when he lived out west, he lived across the street from a Starbucks. And he would go in the morning in his pajim jams, walk across the street to Starbucks with a bowl of cereal in hand, go to their little milk counter, pour milk on his cereal from the Starbucks milk bar, and then go back to his house. I am fairly sure that the baristas were like, What the hell just happened? What the heck? What? And he just became a local character, but I'm like, that, mate, they were side-eyeing you so hard, I'm sure. I also know from people who have worked at places like Starbucks that the policy on theft and loss prevention is don't just let them. Don't try to antagonize shoplifters. Probably a safety thing from corporate perspective is that, if you get injured in the workplace because you were told to intercept a shoplifter, you may be entitled to compensation. So they'd rather just let someone walk out with a bag of coffee beans and not have you I assume they think that it will cost them more if they have to pay your medical bills because some guy broke your arm because you accosted them trying to steal coffee beans than someone walking out with a bag of coffee beans, which is fair. But yeah. Also, I don't want to get my arm broken in the name of a bag of coffee. Have that coffee. I don't care. This is a massive corporation and they're union busters, so screw them. Yeah, that's theft, says Katie, but also the baristas probably weren't paid enough to care. Yeah, exactly. If anything, I think they were probably okay. But also, probably not yay, it's our best friend! Anyways, I would not have the courage for that, says Rex. Yeah, no, me neither. I mean, I don't think it was courage so much as a mild absence of things going on in terms of common sense, just in as much as the same person would the last time I spoke to this person, they were like, yeah, so I dumpster dove for a bunch of stuff out back of Shoppers Drug Mart yesterday. I got some yogurt, and I was like, you dumpster dove for a dairy product, dairy, something that spoils super easy, that's potentially been sitting in a dumpster for you don't know how long, at the ambient temperature of a dumpster, which is going to be probably a few degrees warmer than outside because it's a metal box that the sun shines on all day, you dipstick. You absolute Honda Civic. Don't come crying to me when you get the poops. Mate, that's stupid that's just silliness behavior. That is just being foolish. Anyways. Rex says my wife worked for a mall for a bit and she did score some good shit from the dumpster. I believe you. The stuff a mall retailer throws away is wild. As someone who used to work at a public library. Sorry, I forgot this one. Oh no, it's fine. I'll exclamation mark language you for fun, but chat is allowed to swear word if they want to. I don't mind. I just like having the exclamation mark language command because I get to say we're werewolves, not swearwolves. But you're fine, Rex. But also, I absolutely believe it. Like I said, as somebody who used to work in a public library, um, I I scored a lot of really cool books from things that they were getting rid of. And as someone who very briefly worked in a retail shop in a shopping center in the UK, I didn't really see I didn't really deal with like stock that much, so I didn't see a lot of like the things that have gone out of season and that didn't sell and what we do with them. But I would imagine a lot of them just went into the dumpster out back, which is really sad. I think a lot of places are cracking down on businesses doing that, especially businesses that I remember hearing from someone in New York City that like there were, you know, like luxury shops and that kind of thing, that would just like discard their like out of season stock that couldn't sell in the dumpster out back, but they would deliberately like destroy them so that people couldn't dumpster dive and get like, you know, free out of season sweatshirts or belts or useful things for people who can't afford clothes, right? Which is crappy behavior, and I think, as I say, I think there's been in some places some cracking down on like you're not allowed to do that. But yeah, like at the end of the Christmas season, Victoria's Secret threw out the entire clothing rack, and she took it and gave it to a local co-op market. That's awesome, Rex. She worked for the mall administration, specifically doing marketing, no individual store. Ah, I see, interesting. Dumpster divers are chill, but that can't be safe for them. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like somebody threw that away. They don't want it. So, like, if you want to avail yourself of things that someone else has discarded, you shouldn't get in trouble for that, I don't think. Because someone has literally it is at that point garbage. What business is it of the people who threw it away if someone else decides to have their garbage, you know? I don't have, but I had. I really hope that I didn't actually clock whether or not it's still in my old bedroom back in Canada, but I was given as a gift from my cousin many years ago this amazing, like, it's a sculpture made, like, carved out of a like coconut shell of a little monkey, and I loved that thing, and he literally found it sitting on top of like someone's bins somewhere in Japan and was like, that's really cool, why are they throwing this away, mine now. And he gave it to me as a gift many years ago, and I loved that thing. I thought that was so cool. Katie says, my local libraries often do book sales because they get in donations and then turn around and sell extra books and related materials as a way to fundraise for the library itself. Yeah, exactly. So having worked for public libraries, there's a whole process of like schedules and whatnot for getting rid of books. Sometimes you get donations that are just things that you have too many of, or things that you can't use. There's a whole system that I wasn't really involved in terms of determining what is going to be our library stock. We can't stock everything just because we are limited in terms of space, but we try to be mindful of stocking things that people are going to want and having, you know, a fair amount of niche stuff. But then things will go out of circulation. For instance, new releases, if something's a very popular book or is slated to be a very popular book, we'll get a butt ton of copies in the first instance because we know there's going to be a high demand for it, and we don't want people having to wait 6 months to get the book on reserve, right? So you get a ton of copies in so that people can get it reasonably quickly. But once the popularity of that book starts to wane, you don't need that many copies, or some of those copies have been read enough times that they're kind of starting to, you know, not hold together super well. And at that point you assess, do we mend this book or do we sell the book? And sometimes we decide that, okay, we don't need as many copies of this as we have, so we're going to sell some of these copies, and we sell them, and that goes towards funding library projects and what have you. And certainly the library that I worked at always had book sales and stuff going. But likewise also sometimes you get donations of things that like we already have enough copies of, or is something that we wouldn't necessarily carry for whatever reason, and those go into the sale as well. Then sometimes, so most of the time, and then sometimes you have things that are certain types of books that have, you know, like that are updated for fairly frequently. like things that will be updated annually, or things that travel guides is a good example. There really isn't that much point having a travel guide that's 15 years out of date, because a lot of the things that are recommended in that guide are not necessarily going to be things that still exist. The information is no longer up to date. It makes sense to, when a new edition of the travel guide comes out, to purchase the new edition of the travel guide, at which point the old one goes up for sale. There's probably still a lot of useful information in that older travel guide, and if you get it for like 50p, then, bully for you. You're still going to get use out of that thing, but we have the more up-to-date version in the library. So that kind of thing as well. And then there are also situations where things, specifically this tended to be things like the mass market paperbacks, especially things like romance novels of yore. I feel the mass market paperback is kind of dying, which is very sad. But I don't have enough brain to get into that right now. But things like mass market paperbacks of yore, like especially romance novels and what have you. Sometimes we find ourselves in a situation where things have sat on the book sale shelf for a very long time and they are taking up space that has better uses. At which point, if we are not able to donate the books onwards to another place that wants donations of such things, we have not been able to sell them, and there is really no other recourse in terms of reclaiming that space for other books that people are actually going to be making use of. Very rarely, a member of staff will have to stand outside the back entrance of the library next to the dumpster with a bunch of paperbacks that they've had to tear the covers off of and then put them into the dumpster for recycling. And I had been given this task once, and the worst part of it is that you are standing there with a cart full of books and putting them into the dumpster, and it's like, I can't take these books home because I have no use for them. Nobody else wants these as donations. They'll be better off being recycled into new paper, right? Which feels really sad. And in fact, one time I was out back doing this, and this lady who was a library patron walks past, sees me doing this, and is like, "You should be ashamed of yourself." And I'm like, "Do you think I feel good doing this, ma'am? Do you think this is fun for me? This is a necessary, last option for books that we have to take out of circulation because we need the space for new books. What else do you want? Would you like these books?" And she didn't, so I don't know. Tough biscuits. Feel real bad about it, but yeah. Rex says, "My dad is a UPS driver, and he said that stores have to tear the cover off of magazines that don't sell, too." Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I guess I don't know. I'm not entirely sure why, but yeah. I'd have to, pull the covers off and then recycle. Possibly because the cover is made out of a slightly different paper stock and that has something to do with recycling? I'm uncertain. But, yeah, feels real bad. So I didn't get nearly as much done on this as I had intended to. I might have to do a little work on this off stream so that I can attempt to finish it up on Monday. I hope that's okay if I do. I will try and keep most of the fun stuff for us to do together. But I have to go cook dinner, so I'm gonna call it there for today. But with that being said, I've had so much fun talking to y'all today. It's been so nice. I hope you've had fun too. Rex says, for stores, they apparently send the covers back to the publisher to get some reimbursement. Oh, that's interesting. Or maybe so you can't get a potential collectible in good condition. Yeah, yeah, that makes sense as well. I guess that's kind of similar to luxury brands destroying their merchandise so that it can't be sold for cheap, or a poor might get their hands on it, which is just nasty. But Katie says, "You should be ashamed of yourself, ma'am. It's not a pile of new releases. They've been circulating for ages and taking up space that's needed for other things." Yeah, exactly, Katie, exactly. We did tend to, and again, because things like Harlequin style romances and that kind of thing, they release so many of them a year. It would have been impossible for us to keep every single one of those in circulation forever and ever and ever. You know what I mean? Eventually the collection kind of has to cycle out. They're practically like periodicals in that way. And so it made sense in that. And I think most of the readers of those sorts of books as well want to see new books instead of just the same old ones that they've already read over and over and over again, even though a lot of them have the same plots. But if you like those plots, you want to read them again and again and again, and I wholeheartedly support that as someone who also reads a lot of the same types of things. But anyways, yeah, it is, the life cycle of a library is a very complicated ecosystem that takes a lot of, understanding of sort of reader habits, and it's not just a case of we're going to stock every book we possibly can. I mean, we're going to stock every book we possibly can, but it's also looking at things like what are reader habits, what are new releases that people are going to want, what are things that, you know, maybe circulate less but are still important for us to have. Obviously that is important too. Like, that's why libraries are super useful for if you need a specific book on a very niche topic, you might be able to get it at your local library. But yeah, it's very complicated, and that wasn't really where my area of expertise was in working in the library, so I just sort of like absorbed that kind of peripherally from people who did do that stuff. But it's neat. But yes, I'm gonna call it there for today because I've got to go cook dinner. I'm sorry, we only painted 3 signs. We might have painted 4 if it weren't for the fact that I decided to paint one of them twice. But here we are. Thanks for hanging out with me, everybody. I've had a really nice time. And thank you also to our raiders, Kirsty and Quill. Very much appreciated. Do go give both of those lovely folks a follow if you are not, and feel so inclined to do so. I do recommend them both. They're lovely people. Katie says, if I want to read something over and over and over again, I'll likely purchase a copy for myself. Yep, makes sense. If I don't want to read something a second time, it can go back to the library for someone else to use. Yeah, exactly, yes. I tend to do same. I mean, I don't get a lot of stuff out of the library anymore. I think I burned myself out of library stuff because I used to work in one. Is that terrible? I don't know. But, we're gonna take a look and see who shall I do a little raid on. Who have I not said hello to in a little while who's live? And I will send you in their direction. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, I hope you had a nice time. My brain has officially melted, so I'm gonna wander. Ooh, what are you doing? You're doing some doodling and stuff. Let's go see Fruben, who is, I don't think we've ever said, I don't know if we've raided them before, but they're a good egg. They're doing some doodling today, which sounds like a nice time, and I shall pop some ananas in the chat. Just sliding in to say, bonjour, je suis une ananas. And yeah, I will be back tomorrow morning playing some Silk Song. I hope that you have a lovely evening in the meantime. And thank you so much for hanging out with this extremely art light stream. I tried my best. But I think not streaming on Monday gave me a real backlog of things to talk about, I guess. So I was very verbose today, but I had a lovely time chatting with you all. And thank you again so much for hanging out. I'll be back tomorrow morning. Take care, everyone. Have a lovely evening. Where's my thanks for watching screen? There it is. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Take care. Good night and good luck.